EA Sports and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. It's opening round coverage of the United States Open Championship. Hello again and welcome to the U.S. Open. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. We're here at Chambers Bay with those massive rolling fairways, the towering dunes, unpredictable coastal winds. What a test, Frank, for the best players in the world.
That's right, and it's going to be the first time these professionals are going to play it. We've seen it host a U.S. amateur in the past, and this is a daunting test, especially if the wind gets up. There's enough bunkers out there to trap the best players in the world. Those greens fast and firm enough to repel any shot that's not struck perfectly.
And now we go down to the first hole. Getting ready to get the tournament started, Frank. First tee jitters?
Oh, everybody gets them. That's the beauty of it. If you don't, you shouldn't be playing this game. Just try and think nice and slow.
Frank, did you hear the sound of that coming off the club face?
It was like a cannon.
Good contact, good result. Frank, you think about the great rivalries in sports, the Yankees and the Red Sox, Ollie and Frazier, and in golf, Nicklaus and Palmer. Great athletes, great teams pushing one another to great heights.
It's amazing how that's gone forward too, because Nicklaus and Palmer really became Nicklaus and Watson. Then there was like Norman Faldo, but some would say that Faldo Ballesteros, 6 majors to 5, was even more important. But in this era that we're in now, I think we're all praying for that Woods-McIlroy rivalry. Woods with 14 majors, McIlroy already with 4. That really is one to celebrate over.
Frank couldn't ask for anything more.
Just the lie there, too. It is sitting up like it's teed up.
Third shot, looking for a good one. Okay, good shot on the dance floor. Just keeping the leaders within sight, Frank.
Doing a good job, really. Leaders at the moment, they seem to be in a playing to a different level, but top 10, interesting over these next few holes.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. And this shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. Good swing, good shot yet again. Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Getting set now over the putt. Frank, you can feel the momentum shifting.
You can. It might look tight at the top at the moment, but you definitely get the impression we're going to see a change in the lead very soon.
Beautiful birdie right there. Now set to play the first par 3 of this U.S. Open, Frank, the third hole here at Chambers Bay.
A little bit like the second hole where the contours slope from right to left. So if that breeze is coming from that direction, that's going to swing the ball all the way across the green. And this green is anything other than symmetrical.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he's thinking on that.
Frank, he has to be scratching his head as he reaches for a sand wedge or a gap wedge for his next shot.
Well, you know the FedEx Cup, Rich. I mean, you're meant to get there by 10:30 tomorrow. That thing's still going.
Not the best stuff we've seen today, that's for sure.
Yeah, bogeys aren't going to cut it, especially when you should be making a move in the other direction.
Frank, the fourth hole here at Chambers Bay is the kind of par 4 that says, emphatically, U.S. Open.
Yeah, it's not a rarity these days to have par 4s that are around 500 yards. This is just slightly shy of that. Once again, it's a stiff tee shot. Avoid trouble left and right. A little bit of a bend to the right on this hole, but don't be fooled by that. If anything, the drive has to be hit down the left side.
It's nice to roll in a 25-footer now and then. Those feel good. But still, there's nothing like hitting that perfect tee ball. Long and straight.
Yeah, you can puff out your chest, last to play, the advantage, holes shorter. Basically, the list goes on.
Not quite dialed in all the way on that shot, but still on the putting surface. This is a pretty long putt here. You'd be happy to get this to within 2 or 3 feet. You really want to take the stress out of that next putt. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. And with that par, moves into second place.
Just a mere shot behind.
Wow, check out the elevation change, Frank, from tee all the way down to the fairway. No wonder they called this the fifth hole here at Chambers Bay. Free fall?
You better take a parachute, that's for sure, but you're going to need a parachute to land the ball and stop it on this green as well. Not overly long, well, should I say U.S. Open standards, 488, and these days they stretch it well over 500 yards. But one of the tighter tee shots.
I mean, he just blasted it down the fairway, well over 325 yards. Now, the approach shot here at the fifth hole at Chambers Bay, and how difficult is this?
Well, it looks straightforward, but the second shot, once again, just semi-blind. You've got to be very aware of that little central bunker that's just short of the green, because you're either going to have to go over it or around it.
This won't hurt him, Frank.
Just a little left of the flag. That's fine.
On the green, and a chance for birdie. Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole. No, that's a good par there, Rich.
Second round coverage coming your way tomorrow. For our entire crew, I'm Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo. So long for now. EA Sports and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today, it's live second round coverage of the U.S. Open Championship. Welcome to Chambers Bay with its massive rolling fairways, towering dunes, undulating greens, and unpredictable coastal winds. This links-style course providing the backdrop for the world's best golfers here at the U.S. Open. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo will call every shot today for EA Sports. Frank, what is Chambers Bay all about?
A nice blend of links and parkland golf, really. You can still play the ball, through the air, play your own style of play, but it just looks like you've got to play the ball along the ground, almost link style. These huge cavernous type bunkers that adorn the sides of the fairways, big greens, undulating greens. It really is a wonderful test, and off the back it can play very long. They've had some meat behind it.
Steeply up the hill here. This is going to play very long. Frank, if you win a U.S. Open, it says plainly you were one of the tough guys, that you had, as they say, the intestinal fortitude to handle the most difficult golf courses under the most extreme pressure.
Yeah, and I think that really does define certainly a multiple U.S. Open champion, because you can do anything once, but I think the Hale Irwins of the world, all his majors were U.S. Opens, even Lee Jansen, who won 2 U.S. Opens, they're gritty. Trevino's the same. I remember in the playoff with Jack Nicklaus at Merriam when he threw the rubber snake down there, and you thought, well, why would you dare do that to one of the great players of all time? And anything to get a slight edge, because you knew the golf course itself was going to beat you up. It was going to take every ounce of your golfing acumen to get around there. So you needed any edge you could against the great players that you're playing against.
Well, not in contention, but in for par. Action resuming early on the back 9. Let's go to hole number 11.
It's been a bit of a rough ride here, Rich, but right now is the time where you can turn things around. There's a little bit of time ahead, and we know this player has plenty of good left in the bag.
He just blasted that one down the fairway, out there about 325 yards. Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. Bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
About 25 feet from the cup. Settles in over the putt. Well, you couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. So a tester from 4 feet. Man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Trying to limit the damage here. This putt is for bogey. Frank, nothing really went the player's way this week.
Yeah, if this was motor racing, you'd say it's a case of having 4 flat tires.
Measuring 311 yards, the 12th, Frank, seems to offer an opportunity for a player to do something pretty dramatic here.
Yeah, it's called the Narrows. Really, it should be called the Temptation, because what player stands on a tee knowing he can reach and doesn't take up the gauntlet?
That is tasty looking right there, Frank. Just a perfect spot in the fairway.
That is prime real estate. How do you get a lie like that? Seriously, you could hit any club from there. Another good swing, another good approach shot.
Birdie putt coming up. Had a bogey on this hole yesterday. Frank, where has that been?
Yeah, thank God for small mercies.
Coming down the stretch here at the U.S. Open at Chambers Bay, just 6 holes to play, and Frank, this par 4 13th will really test the players.
It is. If someone makes 3 here down the stretch, it will be monumental. A 4 here, no one would leave this hole unhappy. But when he goes after it like he is here, long just meant longer.
That ball's run out certainly over 300 yards, Frank. Call it about 310. Oh no, look out, Frank. I think he flushed that one.
Oh, this is going, gone.
That was like Usain Bolt, Frank, right through the tape.
Yeah, that first step, that was never going to stop.
Locked in on the read and the speed. He'll take par and move on. Frank, a 5th consecutive par 4 here at the U.S. Open. This is the 14th hole, and I'm guessing by the time you set foot on this tee, you'll know exactly where your game is at.
Oh, this one here, great reward for someone that's driving the ball well. If you can drive it down the left middle, avoid that little one-pot bunker in the middle of the fairway, you're going to certainly shorten this hole up. And then you can start to use the contours of this hole, too, that bend right to left. And 546 yards becomes much shorter than what you would think.
Excellent start off the tee. That's a great way to begin this hole. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
Not a huge miss, Frank, but did lose this just a little to the right.
Yeah, it looks like it's going to catch a piece of the green, though.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Always 2 components to the long lag putt, the speed, number 1, and then the read, and missed out on that second part. Not a gimme, but well within his range.
Virtually no error in that putting stroke. Good putt.
"167 yards on this hole. It's the 15th at the U.S. Open. Nice little par 3.
Oh, fun hole. Well bunkered with that. Once again, a bunker on a dominant side of the green. This time the right side, and one little pokey bunker there on the left side. Green's big enough. A few little contours in this green. Magnificent view, of course, but it's fun to have a hole that's not overly long. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it. He got away with one right there. Just missed that bunker.
Yeah, that looked like it was sand the whole way.
Now this for birdie. Came away with par in the previous round. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Workmanlike hole. He walks away with a par.
Well, early exit for one of what I thought Rich was going to be the favorite, but their week's over.
Numbers don't lie in this case, in this sport, and now a missed cut. EA Sports and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today, it's live third-round coverage of the United States Open Championship. Today, we're here at Chambers Bay in University Place, Washington for the U.S. Open Championship. Rich Loader alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports, set to bring you all of the action out on the course. And Frank, what can you tell us about this unusual layout?
It's actually the first golf course that Robert Trent Jones II has actually designed in Washington. And it just fits in beautifully with the environment. The Puget Sound, it really sets off the whole golf course. So it looks like a links golf course, but it can play in so many different ways. You can play it through the air, you can play it along the ground. And of course, already it's hosted US Amateur and US Open. Nice.
Looks good. Nice long tee shot there and a good lie, Frank. Well, he's going to have to hit the same club a lot harder or just hit another one. Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Had the club face open just a bit at impact, and that one moves considerably to the right of the flagstick. Needs a pair of binoculars to see the hole. Pretty good stroke right there, just hit it through the break.
Well, it's that sort of distance. If it goes in, it's a bonus.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. That's costly right there.
Painful. Even par currently.
Hard to be perfect in this game. That's a bogey. Ready to tee off here at the 6th. Frank, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee here?
Well, as long as it's not in the rough, the bunkers, well, there's no trees here, really. That little green strip, that runway down there, another hole that bends to the right, but find the fairway. The fairway's wide enough. You've got a pretty good idea exactly where you want to go. And once again, this is one of the shorter par 4s. So good drive here, just a short iron in.
Wow, Frank, look at that one run out. Just blistered that tee shot.
Well, that has to be 325 if it's an inch.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
You can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable. That never deviated offline.
That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his mettle.
Good putt. Well, Frank, what a stretch of tough par 4s here at Chambers Bay. Now to the 7th. Long uphill par 4 and a lot of trouble to the right.
Yeah, and it's all sand, that's for sure. If you miss the fairway on the left, then it's all dunes, so take your pick, really. But ideally, that green piece that the superintendent often mows each and every day, that's the place to go. And for a US Open at 508 yards, if you miss that little green strip, then this hole will be hazardous because it's going to play a lot longer than that uphill.
Second shot coming out of the rough here. Oh, looked like he caught a flyer right there, Frank.
Well, I don't know what he caught, but this is way too much.
So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here. Not a problem there, Rich.
Been pretty good all day from this distance, just trying to take care of business. That is a painful bogey at the 7th hole. Shouldn't be a problem here. So not his best work. He'll walk away with a bogey. Frank, we know we're at a U.S. Open. 500-yard par 4s, and here a better than 600-yard par 5 at the 8th.
Yeah, you need a missile really off the tee to be able to reach this par 5 and 2, and not a single bunker really on this hole. So this is just long every stretch of the way. The fairway actually looks a little bit narrower than what it is. There's a little bit more fairway than actually meets the eye at first.
Getting set for this next shot from the rough, what does the player need to be careful of here, Frank?
Well, this is where we're going to see exactly how good they are because, you know, that's not exactly the best lie, but it's sort of doable if you know what you're doing. Yeah, it was a little over-ambitious.
Frank, anything you do differently from the rough in terms of your swing? Do you hinge the club a little bit more quickly?
No, normally put the ball just a little bit further back in your stance because you want the club to be going down. Down, it's got to go down through the grass, through the ball.
Frank, that was a pretty tough lie out of the rough there.
Yeah, it made that actually a little easier than what it really is. It would have been too easy to try and bite off more than you can chew. So I've got to give him a pat on the back for that.
Back in the fairway. Well, the stats say that is a green hit in regulation, but it's not yet a par on the card. Very tough putt coming up. Come on, you have to make that, don't you? Drop shot here at the 8th. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. Oh, I thought he had that. Oh, man.
I just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts. Just a couple of feet. Frank, how do you explain what we saw here?
It's a mess. It's probably the easiest way to put it. In this case of anything that could go wrong, not just probably, it did.
Rich Lerner and Frank Nobilo back with you here at Chambers Bay in the U.S. Open. Now to the 9th hole, closing out this front side.
Well, it just goes to show the tremendous variety that the designer Robert Trent Jones II has done here. We've seen already a tremendous variation, and then this sort of just goes on top of it. Elevated tee. Goes down to a green that just slopes a little bit to the right. Well bunkered on the right. Should be safely on deck.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
Yeah, you wonder what he was thinking on that.
Frank, obviously way too much club there.
You got to think something like that, or at least misread the wind. This is never going to sit down.
Either misjudged the wind or simply just pulled the wrong club, Frank.
Going to take some skill now.
And he's made it onto the green now. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point.
Had to be a misread.
And he's putting for double bogey now. Ouch, that hurts. Double bogey. That concludes round 3 here. Not a very good one, Frank.
Yeah, really a poor performance is the only way to put it. Rich, missing putts throughout the round really kept them back from putting anything of consequence together.
EA Sports and the United States Golf Association are proud to present a national championship. Today, it's live final round coverage of the United States Open Championship.
Hello again and welcome. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Novelo here to call the action for EA Sports at the U.S. Open Championship. We are at Chambers Bay in University Place, Washington. And Frank, this does not look like any U.S. Open golf course that I have seen.
No, it's quickly getting the respect of many of the golf pundits and writers out there as just this wonderful blend of links and parkland-style golf. It presents so beautifully to the eye, but also it challenges every aspect of your game. And really, you couldn't want for anything more than that when you were going to play a major championship.
Designed by Robert Trent Jones II with breathtaking views of the Puget Sound as well as the Olympic Mountains. It's a good spot right there.
Center cut.
Excellent start off the tee. That's a great way to begin this hole. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
Rather nice shot, I would say.
That is a green in regulation as the approach shot hits the first green, but he is by no means in for par yet. A lengthy putt coming up. Always two components to the long lag putt, the speed, number one, and then the read. And missed out on that second part. Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. Second hole now here at Chambers Bay in the U.S. Open. Frank, it's a relatively short par 4.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's easy, though. This is more of a strategic hole. You want to lay the ball up around sort of 270, 280 yards, avoid that big bunker on the left. It is going to leave a short iron in, but the hole bends to the left as well as the slope of the land is right to left. Got to take that into account.
That is massive off the tee.
Meters, yards, I don't care how you measure that. That's got to be what? 300 meters, 325 yards, something like that.
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot on there. Easy birdie.
And getting ready for the putt. In the hole for birdie. Now set to play the first par 3 of this U.S. Open, Frank, the third hole here at Chambers Bay.
A little bit like the second hole where the contours slope from right to left. So if that breeze is coming from that direction, that's going to swing the ball all the way across the green. And this green is anything other than symmetrical.
That will be a great look at birdie. Frank going for another birdie here.
Just to get on a real roll.
Frank, we haven't seen a whole lot of that, but no doubt it feels good. Frank, the fourth hole here at Chambers Bay is the kind of par 4 that says, emphatically, U.S. Open.
Yeah, it's not a rarity these days to have par 4s that are around 500 yards. This is just slightly shy of that. Once again, it's a stiff tee shot. Avoid trouble left and right. A little bit of a bend to the right on this hole, but don't be fooled by that. If anything, the drive has to be hit down the left side.
Oh, this looks good.
Certainly is.
Chambers Bay, just the third municipal course to have hosted a U.S. Open and the youngest to host a U.S. Open in almost 30 years.
Yeah, hats off to them, too. This is they did it for the right reasons. It's going to be interesting to see it on TV with the best in the world playing it, because the golf course will look different. It'll be a shock to some people because we're so used to seeing everything that's green and perfect. This is perfect, but it's not green.
Frank, where's this one headed?
Well, might just catch the left side of the green. He might be on the dance floor, but it's going to be a long way away from the band.
He's knocked it on the green, but not in a great position. This is a difficult chance coming up here. Long birdie try. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. This can be a cruel game at times. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. These putts keep the round together. Just singes the edge, Frank.
Yeah, but at least he's burning the edges. You know you're hitting good putts.
Just a tap in to finish the hole. So another bogey on the scorecard. And Frank, what happened this week?
I think it's a week to forget, Rich.
Wow, check out the elevation change, Frank, from tee all the way down to the fairway. No wonder they called this the fifth hole here at Chambers Bay. Free fall?
You better take a parachute, that's for sure, but you're going to need a parachute to land the ball and stop it on this green as well. Not overly long, well, should I say U.S. Open standards, 488. These days they stretch it well over 500 yards. But one of the tighter tee shots.
Not quite what he was hoping for, the tee shot in the bunker. All right, Frank, second shot.
Yeah, it looks like a good lie. Just take maybe half a club more than the distance allows. Still got to check the wind. Don't have to fly the ball all the way to the flag from here.
Good looking shot right here. Birdie try up next. Makeable putt right here, currently sitting at 1 under for the round. Very well done. Almost made it.
Yeah, there'll be no stress for the next one.
Always take that. Good par putt right there. Ready to tee off here at the sixth. Frank, where are you looking to land the ball off the tee here?
Well, as long as it's not in the rough, the bunkers, well, there's no trees here, really. That little green strip, that runway down there, another hole that bends to the right, but find the fairway. The fairway's wide enough. You've got a pretty good idea exactly. Oh, he's winding this one up. Does he have the power, though?
It's just burning rubber right here. I mean, this one is taking off like a missile.
Just destroyed it. He's going to try and rip the cover off it.
Frank, that is position A.
Yeah, the tee shot was like silk, Rich. I mean, just sets up that second shot so beautifully.
Terrific golf shot. And now that for an easy birdie. Different day, different hole. Made bogey yesterday. He'll do better this time, it looks like.
Virtually no error in that putting stroke. Good putt.
Well, Frank, this is what a U.S. Open is all about. A long, tough par 4 up the hill.
Yeah, just a beast. And it's a dogleg ride on top of that. There's more humps and bumps and all this than a dermatologist would ever dream of down there. That is burning through the atmosphere. Look at that thing. It's got a tail on it.
That's like a rocket ship. That one was launched by NASA. Oh, look out, Frank. Where's this one headed?
This is definitely rough, Rich, off the tee.
Playing this par 4, still not on the green after that second shot.
But still not done. A good third shot. Maybe get away here with par.
Pretty good shot right there. Not a gimme, but well within his range. How you maintain momentum and make those putts for par. Well, this hole, the 8th, says U.S. Open all the way. A tee set back to well over 600 yards, Frank, par 5.
Well, it's called high road and low road, so which way would you prefer? I'd rather take the high road and that sort of whip one down the fairway there, hopefully around the 300-yard mark, and you just might make this par 5 and 2. Then you can tell all your mates. If you take the low road, you're going to rack up a big number, and you don't want to tell anybody.
Good contact, good result. He just blasted that one down the fairway. Out there about 325 yards. Going to try to put a little air under this one with a lob wedge. Frank, that ball's sitting up like it's on plush carpeting.
Rich, if you and I had lies like that every time, we'd still be playing this game for a living.
We just saw a player in total control of what he's doing. Didn't miss a green in regulation all day long. Little redemption chance here. Had bogey yesterday. Frank, that's not one you're necessarily thinking about making.
No, just good putt, though. There's no two ways about that. He's putting well.
You couldn't ask for much more than that, except to make it. Something about this hole, it has not been kind. Bogey yesterday and staring at another one today. My goodness, what does a guy have to do to make a putt out here? This one just requires a little bit of focus. Frank, how do you explain what we saw here?
It's a mess. It's probably the easiest way to put it. This is a case of anything that could go wrong. Not just probably, it did.
That should be pretty good right there. On the safe side. Well, that is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's a formality now.
Yeah, he's made it for a birdie. Well, that was a nearly flawless performance on the front side, but Frank, we know it's an 18-hole game, isn't it?
That's right. Now's not the time to pat yourself on the back. Fine.
Frank, why are great rivalries so important? Why do we love them?
I think because people like to sit on one side of the fence. You're either for or against a great player. And I think we see that today with Tiger Woods and Rory McIlroy. There's the McIlroy fans that think his future is so bright. There's the Woods fans that still want him to pass Jack Nicklaus's record. That's the beauty. You've got to have an opinion, and you have to have a player.
This won't hurt him. Early part of this second nine and a good approach shot. Now, pretty good chance for birdie. So coming off the birdie on the previous hole, a chance now for yet another one.
And momentum all in his favor. Good roll, good putt.
Now on to the 11th, and Frank, we are looking at a long par 4 in front of us.
We are indeed, and it's called shadows, but there is love in the shadows here. Hit it over that dune down there in the middle of the fairway. If you can get it there around the 300-plus yard mark, then the hole obviously starts to get a little easier. That second shot, you'd like to hit a little bit of a cut in here, but there's two levels to this green, so make sure you're on the right level where that flag is.
That is a really good tee shot right there, Frank.
I think that tipped the 300-yard mark.
And from the fairway for his second shot here. Oh, no, look out, Frank. I think he flushed that one.
Oh, this is gone.
Frank, it hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
You wonder what he was thinking on that.
Frank, you like his chances to walk away with a par here?
Well, with a good shot, Rich, yeah, that's certainly on the cards in that. And you think you just write a par down at the end of the hole. Don't tell anyone about it. It certainly won't affect the scorecard at the end of the day. So that's the goal right here.
And he's made the green. Clean this up with a tap. Frank, that's a par, and onward we go. Frank, we just came off that long par 4 at the 11th, well over 500 yards. Now at the 12th, we go in the opposite direction. This has become a staple at a U.S. Open, the reachable par 4.
Yeah, the logic would say just grab sort of a mid-iron to a long iron, knock it down, wedge it on there, and have no strain, no sweat. But who's going to play golf like that? Take the head cover off. Come on, chance it. It's called narrows. The odds are going to be narrow, but you just might hit green.
And as he strides up here to the 12th green, having hit it in regulation, he knows now that his work is by no means done. A long putt coming up. So a long putt there and just didn't read it quite right. Boy, this could be a tough one right here, Frank.
It's a very long putt, Rich. Obviously, it's difficult, but he still has a shot to sink this one for birdie.
Pretty good effort right there.
Really. This is that awkward length.
Oh, I thought he had that. Boy, that hurts right there, Frank.
Yeah, he's got to knuckle down now, though, because, we've seen it before, Rich. 2 putts turn into 3, 4. So make sure you can limit the damage here.
Frank, it has been that kind of a tournament. Another bogey. Coming down the stretch here at the U.S. Open at Chambers Bay, just 6 holes to play, and Frank, this par 4 13th will really test the players.
It is. If someone makes 3 here down the stretch, it will be monumental. A 4 here, no one would leave this hole unhappy. Long and straight.
That's how you do it. Frank, this is a way to make golf easy when you can hit it that deep.
Oh, I'm going to say, I know that first number's a 3. I'm guessing the second one's a 2. Let's call it 320.
Frank, looks like he came over just a little bit.
Yeah, that one wasn't pretty, but it's still gonna get away with it.
Not terrible, but not his best.
Yeah, outside chance, really, for birdie, but really, it was a rather poor approach shot.
Well, that's all you want right there. Just lag it down. Don't get too crazy. And now just to tap in left. Just a couple of feet. They'll take it. That's a par. Frank, a 5th consecutive par 4 here at the U.S. Open. This is the 14th hole, and I'm guessing by the time you set foot on this tee,
you'll know exactly where your game is at?
Oh, this one here, great reward for someone that's driving the ball well. If you can drive it down the left middle, avoid that little one-pot bunker in the middle of the fairway, you're going to certainly shorten this hole up. And then you can start to use the contours of this hole too, that bend right to left. And 546 yards becomes much shorter than what you would think.
Always makes the hole easier, playing it from the fairway.
Second shot.
Pretty far from the hole, but still on the green, and that's never too bad. Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie. Speed wasn't bad on that long putt, but the read wasn't very good. Continues to roll the ball very well. Frank, now to the 14th hole, and this is the 5th consecutive par 4 here at Chambers Bay, and by this point the players will know whether they're on their game or off their game.
At 546 yards, this hole can be shortened considerably if you choose to take a brave line down the left side. You can chew off as much as 70 or 80 yards. But once again here, because the hole bends to the left, you've really got to know which direction that wind is coming from.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. Frank, how did he do there?
Well, he's inside 30 feet, but 27 feet, that's not exactly what you'd call close.
Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, he couldn't hit that much better.
Just needs to keep it steady here over the putt. Good effort and good par putt. Getting set to take on the finishing holes here at Chambers Bay. How do you do it in the right way, Frank?
Well, when you look down this fairway, obviously everything slopes left to right. That makes this hole actually play a little bit more of a dogleg to the right, even though it doesn't look it. And then, of course, that green up ahead, it's like a tabletop. So precision here is absolutely paramount.
He has given this one the full treatment. Perfect release through the ball. This shot is on the fairway, over 300 yards. That's well played. Now a good look at birdie. Birdie putt coming up. Had a par on this hole yesterday.
Now putt for par.
8-foot putt here. Man.
Just pushed it.
Boy, that hurts.
He's putting for bogey now. He's made it. Pressure's beginning to rise here. 17th hole of the U.S. Open at Chambers Bay. And this one, Frank, the par 3, will require a really good shot.
It's amazing how many U.S. Opens have great 17th hole. I think of Winged Foot, par 3, 17th, even Marion, par 3. This one will certainly fit in the same vein. It's named Derailed, and it will derail many a player trying to win a U.S. Open.
Birdie try up next. Frank, I'm not saying he should pull out driver here, but this is a long putt.
Greens are fast, though. You never know. Good line, good pace. Might have a chance. Oh, how did that miss?
Are you kidding me? I mean, that one was dead center. Locked in on the read and the speed. In for par. Now to the 18th hole. Frank, everyone wants to finish in style.
Yeah, the home hole here, once again you head back to just a wonderful view, and you realize that Chambers Bay was designed as a walking golf course, and it was designed to have fun and test every department of your game. 18 will do that. It probably gives you more trouble on both sides of the hole than any other hole on the golf course.
Well, this looks good.
Certainly is.
Frank, for players looking to improve their putting, what are some of the training methods they can use?
I think speed is always a good one when you get on the putting green and you just practice trying to putt inside that 3-foot circle, because in the end all sports are the same. You're trying to focus in on the destination where that ball has to be delivered, whether it's tennis inside the court or basketball inside the rim. Putting's no different. As you get further and further away from the hole, then you just make an acceptable size circle that you're trying to putt within. So pace, very important.
Routine stuff here, Frank, from the bunker?
You just got to be careful of that lip in front of him with his third shot coming up.
Appears to be what they call a commercial play. Very solid. So maybe a nice way to finish up with a good approach here to the 18th and a good chance for birdie. Par yesterday. Now for birdie.
Good read, good line, well played.
Well, that'll wrap up our coverage of the final round. This is Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo for EA Sports. We'll see you next week.